Over 500 years ago, a French man wrote a strange sentence. He claimed the world, as we know it, would end in the year 3797. He didn't explain how or why, but he left behind a book filled with prophecies that have terrified some and fascinated others. This man is Nostradamus. A doctor, an astrologer, a poet, and a man some believe truly saw the future. He spoke of major events, wars, revolutions, assassinations, natural disasters, and somehow some of the things he wrote seem to have come true. In this episode, we open a file that's 500 years old and ask the question few dare to ask. Was Nostradamus just a brilliant pessimist, or did he leave encrypted messages meant for generations yet to come? Who was he? What did he really say about the future? What has already come true from his prophecies? And is there still something we haven't seen yet? But what if the most dangerous prophecy hasn't come true yet? He never mentioned names or gave exact dates, but somehow, some of Nostradamus's cryptic verses have echoed through time, resurfacing after the world's darkest moments. In one of his most famous quatrains, he describes, "From the depths of Western Europe shall rise a child of poor people. He shall seduce a great army with his words, and his fame shall spread across the East." Many believe this perfectly mirrors the rise of Adolf Hitler. But the most chilling part? In another verse, he uses the word Hister, a strange name, eerily close to Hitler. Some say it refers to an ancient name for the Danube River, which runs near the very region where Hitler was born. Another prophecy speaks of a fire shaking the earth in a new city as two massive stones clash in the sky. After the 9/11 attacks in New York, many turned back to that verse. They began asking, was he referring to the Twin Towers? Were the stones a symbol of the buildings falling from the sky? One more quatrain describes a great blaze devouring a capital, as blood rains down and the heavens cry out. Some connected it to the Great Fire of London in 1666, which burned through the city for 4 days, turning everything in its path to ash. Others believe he foresaw the French Revolution, the assassination of John F. Kennedy, even the bombing of Hiroshima. The connections are never exact, but always close enough to make you pause. Enough to wonder, was this all just clever writing, or did Nostradamus really see the headlines of tomorrow? Before the legends, there was just a man. Born in the year 1503 in a small French town called Saint-Rémy-de-Provence. His name was Michel de Nostradamus. He was born to a Jewish family that was forced to convert to Christianity at a time when religion wasn't just belief, it was survival. He studied medicine and became a respected physician, best known for treating victims of the plague. But while others saw only death, he saw patterns. At night, he looked to the skies, not for inspiration, but for messages. He combined his knowledge of astronomy, ancient texts, and his deep obsession with time to craft what would become one of the most mysterious books ever written. In 1555, he published Les Prophéties, a collection of 942 four-line poems known as quatrains. They weren't written in plain French, but in a coded mix of Old French, Latin, Greek, and even Hebrew. Some believe he deliberately masked his words to avoid persecution by the church. Others say it was something else. That he wasn't hiding from people, but from time itself. Over the centuries, some viewed him as a prophet, others as a fraud. But the book never disappeared. If some of his words already came true, then what about the ones that haven't? In one of Nostradamus's most alarming quatrains, he speaks of a war lasting 7 months, devouring nations across Europe and changing the world forever. Many fear this could be a third war, sparked not by armies alone, but by misinformation, global collapse, and nuclear threats. Another prophecy warns of a man who was not elected, but instead imposed upon the world after a period of unrest and global confusion. He will promise peace, but bring destruction. Some believe this is the arrival of a global ruler, while others think he represents the Antichrist. But Nostradamus didn't just warn about politics. He wrote about extreme droughts, rising seas, disappearing, and strange eclipses, as if the climate itself was spiraling out of control. In one of his most cryptic verses, he describes a future where man shall reach knowledge, without soul he will live, and yet not live. To some, this is a warning about artificial intelligence, digital consciousness, and the blurring line between human and machine. And then there's the final date, the year 3797. Nostradamus claimed this could mark the end of the world as we know it. He gave no details, no explanation, just a date. For centuries, his words have haunted history, resurfacing every time the world reaches a breaking point. To some, he was just a clever writer. To others, he was something more, a man out of time, a messenger no one asked for, leaving behind a book that might not be meant for his time, but for ours. So the question remains, were these just poetic coincidences? Or are we living out a script that was written 500 years ago?